Hi everyone, this is Selena Kraus and welcome to another card video. In this video I will show you how to make this shaker card using some Studio Katia goodies. I'll be using the Studio Katia stamp set We Bloom Together along with one of the Stamptember sets that was called Blooming Trio. And I'll be using two die sets and some Arteza watercolor paper, which I'm putting to another test, this time with Z Clean Brush Real Brush Clean Color pens. So let's get started. First I'm using this kind of is textured watercolor paper. It's cold press Arteza, 140 pounds. So I'm using my MISTI. I'm gonna stamp the images all together, and I will stamp a few times because after I've stamped with the Versamark, I want to emboss it. So I want to make sure that I have nice coverage. So I'm using the mini MISTI, and I picked up the stamps using the lid of the MISTI. Then I'm using some static powder, anti-static powder or embossing body, and I'm starting to stamp the images. I'm using Versamark ink, and I'll stamp 3 times to ensure that I have nice coverage, so when I emboss it, that embossing powder will cover in all creases and crooks of the paper. So that was one time. I'm making sure that it's nicely inked. This is the second time, and I'll do it one more time. So next I'm using some Hero Arts white embossing powder to apply to my paper, so you can see the image when I have it like under an angle. You can see the embossing powder, otherwise because it's white you can really see it. Next I'll use my heat tool to heat set this to melt the embossing powder. So next I'm going back and I'll stamp one more panel with the same images, just in case if I decide to use more than one of the images, or if not, I'll just save it for a future project. So I'm again repeating the process, applying the embossing powder, and I will heat set it in a second. I'm just melting all the embossing powder. Okay, and we're almost done here. So here are my 2 panels, and next I'll start coloring. I have my charts from the Z Clean Brush Real Brush Clean Color pens. So I'm just picking out colors. I'm picking 2 pinks, orange, yellow, and some greens for the leaves. And the orange is as well for the leaves too. So then I have Arteza water brush and some paper towel to remove some of the water from my paintbrush as I color. So I just apply the color directly to my paper and then blend it in with my watercolor brush. So I'm doing this pretty quickly. The embossing helps really stain the lines and get that defined image that almost look like no line coloring, even though there is white embossing powder. Because our background is white, it really looks very nice. So I'll turn on some music right now and let you enjoy the coloring, and I'll be back once we have colored all the flowers and leaves. done coloring here, and the next step will be to use the coordinating die cuts. Coordinating dies to cut the flowers and leaves. So I'm just positioning them over my paper, watercolor paper, and securing them with some microspore tape. And then by the magic of YouTube, they already die cut, so I already did the second one too. So I'm just trying to position here to see how I want them to be positioned onto my card. So next I am using the dotted ribbon and frame, darling ribbon and dotted frame, as well with the dotted balloons dies to create this window. And first I did it from the same watercolor paper that I used for the flowers, but after that I decided to use some shimmer, Neenah shimmer, like metallic cardstock paper that I got from Target. So next I'm using the background is from the watercolor paper, and I'm just creating quick watercolor wash background. So it's not plain white, but it has some color to it. So I'm coloring as well, painting this frame using the Distress ink, evergreen bow and tumbled glass. So next, since my panel is metallic, like kind of shimmer, so I'm just drying those quickly, and I added some Imagine Crafts shimmer spray, clear sparkle spray. So next I'm creating that shaker. I'm adding some score tape around the window, and I adhered a piece of acetate. And next I'm trying to figure out if I like it better on coral or the blue. So I think the blue one is the way to go. Next I'm adhering some adhesive 3D strips from Stampin' Up. Those are great for shaker cards, especially when you have circle or any other shape that's not rectangle or square. And square is a type of rectangle. So let's not go into that. And now I'm adding some sequins into the middle of my back panel, and I'm adhering that the front window panel on top. So we created the shaker. Next we're just going to position the flowers and decide which ring I'd like to put there. So I decided with the one that I colored blue, kind of more soft and subtle look. So but before we go on, I completely forgot to stamp the image. Not the image, but the sentiment. So I'm doing that now. I'm just stamping it a couple times with Versamark. But because I didn't have the strips on the back, they're not evenly, like there are spaces between them. This didn't stamp correctly, so I pulled the card apart and I added a couple more strips under that sentiment. So I'm going back with my MISTI, and this is another good thing of the MISTI. You can go in again, put your card in the MISTI, and it will stamp in exactly the same time. So I use Versamark, and I use platinum embossing powder from Hero Arts. So next I'm using some dimensionals to adhere that the flowers and the leaves, and just trim them to size as I want them to, where I want them to fit. So we are almost done here. The only things that's left is to score my panel. I'm using Stampin' Up! Soft Sky, and then I'm using some tombow liquid adhesive to adhere it to the panel, to the card base or the card panel. So here's the finished card. You can see all the sequins in the middle. So there is one more look, and thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well visit my blog for more ideas and inspiration. See you soon in another video. Bye!